All right.
Grand Rising. This is the Straight Talk Morning Show. My name is Andre Hill, your host. We have our co-host and engineer, Andre Jr. How you doing, man?
I'm all right, family. All right. Peace and love to everybody out there.
Okay, we have the chairman of our Aboriginal state. I always refer to him as chairman, but his name is Terrence Lake. How you doing, sir? And how are things in Detroit?
Well, Grand Rising, everyone, and we got another tropical day, and it's a busy day for me because I got a lot of affairs to go to. Even got to run over to Canada for a while,
Oh, man.
but it's a beautiful day for it, though.
All right. Well, Detroit and all that area have strong Aboriginal Native American heritage. So we're looking forward to all the Detroitans. Is it Detroitians or Detroitans?
Detroiters.
Oh, Detroiters, yeah. Well, we welcome all of them to the show, and they need to get with our nation. Also, we have the beautiful Queen and new acting chief administrator of the United Aboriginal American Republic. Latika, how are you doing this morning, my queen?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm at a family reunion in Wee Waa Hitchika. It's a little town right outside of Panama City. And the interesting note about Panama, about this town, the name Wee Waa Hitchika is a Native American word for watery eyes. So I don't have the proof of when it was named Watery Eyes, but if it's a Native American name, which means it had to be hundreds of years ago. So right. the only way you can tell that come up with that name is that you would have to be in an aerial ship overseeing the two lakes that are side by side. And if you're looking from a high altitude, it looks like two watery eyes. So who was flying a ship 300 or 400 years ago to know this? To tell the Native Americans or give that name or translate what this little area means to those beings. So I'm in Wee Waa Hitchika, and we're having a family reunion. There are hundreds and hundreds of Hills and Davises. And man, this is a beautiful, powerful thing to be around Aboriginal people, Native Americans, Aboriginals. We've had hundreds of names, but this one is going to stick. This is our nationality, and I'm enjoying it. Latika, you want to introduce our guest?
We have a guest?
Yeah, we got Kufu on.
Oh, sorry, because you know what happened? I came out of the screen, so I didn't see. Hold on 1 second.
That's all good. Brother Kufu, unmute yourself, brother. Welcome to the show.
Love and light, family.
Yeah. We not necessarily new to you, so welcome to the Straight Talk Show, man. Today we're gonna be talking about the Egregore of Black Christians. Also a little bit about our nationalization, Aboriginals.
Okay.
Yeah. So
pretty much a part two from last week.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're gonna run the tape from last week, the one that we did not view, and with Ray Hagin and his analogy. Last week we were talking about, should we give up on certain Christians that are going to stick to the narrative written by the Europeans that end up enslaving us, or are we going to consider another narrative of the true history of the planet? But Ray Hagin gets into explaining what Egregore means and how it has affected, the black folks in this country that were subjected to slavery. And so I think I listed it in the description of topics of the show, post-traumatic slave syndrome. So, Latiga, you probably want to introduce this video and give us a little history on a recount of what the video is talking about, and set it up so that our engineer can go ahead and run it.
But I think Andre Jr. is going to play a little bit of Ray Hagin explaining what an egregore is and how it affects people when they have a strong belief system, whether it's with religion, whether it's with, anything it is that you have a strong belief, but the belief happens to not be true. It's just something that in your mind you created to be real because, you convince yourself something long enough, you pretty much start believing in it. So Ray Hagin is going to explain it from a cognitive psychology point of view on how the mind can make things that's not real seem real, And then we'll play the other audio clip. It's not videos, it's an audio clip. We'll play the next audio clip when they're speaking about the same thing, but it's more extended into the religion pathway, the religion aspect. And then I know Andre said he had something that he wanted to share too. So this is just to try and, wake up the minds for the ones that want to wake up and point out key things that could prove we are being affected and Black people are being, mentally tormented by these egregores, throughout the 500-year process and counting. So that's it.
All right.
Hey, roll camera.
Give me 1 second here. And I think we played one video last week. I think I'm pulling up the proper second one. I'm gonna try to play the second one this week. Hopefully I got the right one. But let's go ahead and try to get into it here.
Thereby creating or making an Old Testament story that starts with a guy named Adam.
Yes, and then what they did also was when they came out of Kemet, years down the line, when England become powerful, the British gave them a piece of land that they now call Israel.
Thank you, brother.
And they occupied and maintained that Egyptian idea.
Yep.
And said that they were the ones who were enslaved.
You got it, man.
Egypt, yes.
Yeah, you got it.
Most of them is Russians. Most of them is
Russian and German Jews, man.
I was speaking to an Israeli woman a couple weeks ago in Connecticut. And I stood with her and I said, so you're an Israelite? And she said, no, I'm an Israeli. But she gives credence to the Jewish tradition. And she said that I am a Jew, but my parents came from Russia. I said, but when I went to Israel, most of the people there that say that they are Israeli, is Russia them come from?
Yes.
How did so much Russians get into Israel to now occupy the spot and call themselves Jews? Which is that story. This is where the story originated.
Yes.
The Exodus.
Yes.
Who went into Egypt.
Yes.
And wiped out a lot of things and then claim that culture, move out of Egypt, find himself back in Russia.
You got it.
And in Germany.
You got it.
And then later on the British come and go, ma'am, this is piece of land. These are the people, the chosen people of God. It's crazy.
And to show you how deep this thing goes, brother, they see another phrase that I teach is this: he who controls the printed page controls the thinking of the age. In other words, if I want to control you, if I can write it in a book and convince you that what I wrote is the word of God, I got you, man. You see? So what we must understand is before the late 6th, early 7th century, there was nobody on this planet that went under the identity of a Jew or Hebrew. See what I'm saying? Now, what's really deep about it is the Bible actually says in Galatians, the 4th chapter, that Abraham never existed. It actually says it. It says that Abraham is an allegory. And for those who are listening, look at your Bible. Galatians, the 4th chapter, read verses 22, 23, 24. It actually says that Abraham, his wives, Hagar and Sarah,
Yes.
his sons, Ishmael and Isaac, it's an allegory.
Yes.
The whole thing is an allegory.
Yes.
It's a story.
Yes.
Okay? Now, here's the problem that we face as a people. When you have been so removed from the identity of who you are, or an awareness of your own identity, that you have to look into the literature of your oppressor to find a name for yourself, that's when you're in trouble, bro.
Yeah.
And that's called an epitome. An epitome is when you an epitome is to name yourself after someone who never historically existed.
Yes. Yes.
You follow me? So when a person says Israel, they're talking about Jacob.
Yes.
Because Jacob wrestled with the devil supposedly,
Yes.
right?
God,
and
yes.
God changed his name from Jacob to Israel.
One was victorious.
Exactly. You know, but there was no Jacob.
Yeah.
And there was no Jacob because there was no Isaac. And there was no Isaac because there was no Abraham. You see? It's all a story, man. It never historically happened. So when our people come to grips with this reality, you know, and it's a painful thought. Please, those of you listening, understand this is a very painful process, man. When your brother, I had reached the point of suicide, Muta. You know, because my mother stopped talking to me. The girl I was engaged to took the ring off and threw it at me because she said I was satanic. My friends, I had an open door policy to preach from coast to coast, border to border as a national evangelist. Everybody I knew shut me down because I found out something that they didn't know. Brother, it was so painful, man. It was, you know, I reached the point of not wanting to live anymore. You see? So I am so thankful today to the Almighty and the ancestors for holding on to me. Because I had got so low at one point, brother. I said, you know, it'd just be better if I ain't here. Because my constitution will not allow me to deny what I have come to find to be the truth.
Definitely.
You know,
I am really into that too, that I never make it. Because you said that and you said that, and I come realize this now.
Yeah.
You're going to say, boy, I can't. Even sometimes you have to question.
All right. So
Okay, go ahead.
One thing, no, I maybe end up putting the cart before the horse here too. One thing that's really, really interesting to me, and I'm looking it up as I'm listening to Mr. Ray Hagin here, is in Galatians, Paul, in other words, or Saul, stating that Abraham, or the story of Abraham in general, is an allegory, and I'm you know, I can only do so much reading and interpreting while we're doing this live. But I'll get to it and interpret it while we're doing. But that's a very important revelation. The fact that Abraham is allegorical, and and even the character Saul or Paul reporting that in Galatians, because Paul is the one who allegedly found Jesus, right? Paul is the one who allegedly found Jesus. Now the point is this: when you have a doctrine like that has a lot of he say, she say from so many different perspectives, without any tangible or chronological order, and it warps the mind so terribly. And then you have this, what we talked about last week, this creation of an occult mind, which we now call, well, in psychology, is called an egregore. that is such a heavy impact on the world, such a heavy impact on our people, um, that needs to be studied in depth here, and maybe even institutionally remedied. Maybe institutionally remedied, and I mean to the point of the same way there's an entire institution for trauma victims. I mean, there needs to be an institution for the. I mean, I understand. No, matter of fact, I know the entire ceremony and/or ritual practice it took to create this entire PSYOPs campaign. Right? I know how long it took, how much time and effort they put into it, and so the reversal of it, we know is going to take some, if not that much effort and more. If not that much effort and more. But anyway, I don't want to go too far into the technicality of it. That you were going to say something. Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to say something. Latika, can you expand and put it all in perspective? Because I'm at this point right now. We don't have time to get a lot of people that are still caught up in this European religion, this mirage of truth. We got to move on and bring in the ones that are already conscious, that understand that the Europeans, as part of an agenda, they were manipulated, they were pimped to go out and destroy melanated people. And so you got melanated people, they're not going to wake up, until they're ready to wake up. So our primary focus, and what you're saying, yeah, they need treatment, but our primary focus right now is we're bringing in the final components to the ones that are already awakened, what we need to do to fix this. But so Latika, give your final view on what Ray Hagin is saying and your perspective, because we got to have that feminine point of view to get this thing moving.
Yeah, I just think that we need to keep playing clips of him dealing with the whole Christianity thing and connecting it to a cognitive psychological situation, because this is helping the awakening process for the ones who do want to wake up. I can just piggyback off of what he's saying. Like, I really don't have an individual answer outside of what Ray is already doing. I think how I'm picking out these little conversations that he's having concerning certain situations is the medicine, a little bit at a time. Like last week we played a little bit, this week we're playing it and we're talking about it. Next week there'll be another half to play to talk about it. And it works like that,
Okay.
It's not a force feeding thing. We just put the information out there, and if they want it and they're ready to expand, they'll take it and receive it the way they need to,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My brother Kufu, you want to expand on what you're hearing here?
Yeah, like my belief is leading by example is better than trying to explain to people who are so indoctrinated. It's like to the point where it's like it has become a mental disorder. This whole religious Christianity, religious, these ideologies have been like almost genetically, socially engineered into our, because we've been dealing with it. It's been happening to us for so long, for so many years. I feel like leading by example, right? Like you said, building a nation, healthy-minded, melanated people who are not following the oppressors' belief systems and ways of life. My belief is, like I said, I like what Andre said though too, as far as the getting like some type of institution building some type of institution to deprogram, to uninstall what has been installed. You know what I mean? Like I do like that concept too. And you know, but leading by example, and also having a organization or institution to uninstall the program, because it's all a program. It's a program that we've been, and it's like, you know, I got to give it to them. They was some geniuses the way they got the way they got us. That was genius. You know, the way they got us sitting up in these churches, you know, waiting for some type of savior, waiting on something to save us or something like that. Like, it's genius. So that's what I would like to say. I like to say, number one, lead by example. I don't know what's going on with my camera. I like to say lead by example. And also, like Andre was saying, create some type of institution to deprogram the melanated mind and try to rejuvenate and get it back to its original state. You know what I mean? And it's going to be hard because it's been hundreds of years of programming. It's in our, unfortunately, it's in our genes. You know, the same way you can breed a dog to be a racing dog, you can breed a dog to be a fighting dog, you can breed a dog to be a, you know, a loving dog. That's kind of what they done to us. They breeded us like animals, like cattle. You know what I'm saying? And they breeded the weak. They breeded the, you know, the melanated spirit out of us and replaced it with European eating, European thinking, European religious systems, European, you know, the way we, you know, it's like that we have been programmed to be like them. That's why we the killers. That's why we can kill worse than them. We can hate worse than them. We can do the things that we can do what they do. I mean, better than them, not worse. Let me rephrase that. We can do the things that they programmed us to do better than them. You see? So like Brother Andre was saying, it has to be an institutionalized, it has to be some type of institution that we create, whether it be through school or spiritual, some type of spiritual get together, some type of school, some type of programming or something to help, you know, deprogram what has been put into us. So, you know, that's what I would say about it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So, so Chairman, we've been on this planet 70 plus years. And you know, I take responsibility for our generation, basically going for the okie-doke. Do you see people in our generation coming around accepting the reality that we got hoodwinked and now we're gonna fix this? Do you see any hope in our generation?
It's pretty slim in our generation because, you know, we're that last generation, you know. But like the brother was saying, we've been programmed. You know, when you're programmed, you're being taught to do something, taught to believe. And our biggest problem is the believing. We got to know. When you know something, like I'm sitting here, I know that I don't believe. You know, we've been told so many different beliefs and their own levels, you know, and it's got us on levels. We can't even communicate to each other because it depends on what we believe, you know. But once we come together and know certain things, then we can solve this problem because knowledge is power. You know, like the Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. And a lot of our people don't have the knowledge. They're just going by or parroting what they heard, you know, oh, this, oh, that, you know, with the situation with Trump, you know, being shot. People are taking that to so many different extremes. Like, you know, what is the truth? Nobody, and people are watching it and still don't believe the truth, you know. And that's, I'm saying believe, but it was a fact that he got shot at. Now, whether he got hit or not, now that's another story because he could have pinched his ear when he went to the side. You know, I don't know, but it was a very well played scenario of what happened on that stage. But we got to get down to the point where we know things. And that's why we're talking. We're talking our opinions, and eventually it's going to lead to knowledge. It's like with our white brothers and sisters, they get together, they have meetings, and they'll go over it, and they don't agree, but then in some cases they do agree, and then sometimes they got to give up what they believe to be with the majority in order to keep the bandwagon rolling, the control that they have, and it's not saying what they're doing is right, because I'm a firm believer that I don't believe all whites are bad. I think the majority that I know are good people, just like I don't think all blacks are bad. I was shot by a black guy. But does that mean I'm going to hate all black because one person shot me? No. I'm bigger than that. But it's all about coming together, and we could resolve this here. We got these master classes, we could use the master class to deprogram the people that really don't understand and been taught a lie all their life, So I hope I've answered some of what's going on, because there's so much going on, but there are certain things I know, and there's some things I believe. But with this God situation, there's so many different gods, rain God, water God, sun God. Which God is it that we should be, paying homage to? And I feel it's that God that's within us all, because we all got that spirit in us, and we'll come together if we respect that. And it's just meant to happen. That's why we were put here. I'll land that plane.
Well, hold up, Chairman. I got one more piece to put on you. So, all right, just like there were rumors or facts that different religious groups, particularly the Catholic Church, would put pumps in the different statues to allow them to cry or bleed, so that it would convince the followers that this is sanctioned by God. Do you think that this show put on by the Trump administration to say he survived this because God wants him to, is that part of the programming, that God protected him from being actually, because they were saying the type of bullet that was fired at him, it would have took off half of his head. Not you had to be an extreme marksman to just get a little tip of his ear. An unbelievable marksman.
That was an assault rifle.
Huh?
That was an assault rifle with like a 223 round with a military, assault rifle with a military issue round. That would have blew his whole. Even if the bullet wouldn't have touched his ear, just the force and the heat and it would have took his ear off. It would have took his ear off.
And anybody behind him.
Yeah, look, that wasn't no little 22. That was a 223 assault rifle round that would have took Trump's ear off and his hat too. That would have just blew that, So
yesterday I was at an event, and before I start this my spell on this, I've heard from, let's say, some people I will have a respectful conversation with, both ends of the spectrum, as far as whether they believe this was not a fake event versus people who think it's, it was. But yesterday I talked to a ex-military marksman. I had a brief conversation, and as a matter of fact, we were drinking a couple of beers, right? So he got a bit wordy, just to give you some context, okay? So, he gave me some pretty good context, based on the evidence was found of what type of gun that was allegedly used, what type of round that was allegedly used, what type of distance was in between the shooter and Trump, what type of angle the shooter was at. And just like Brother Kufa was saying, now, and this is just me, my opinion was, just based on my little bit of knowledge about, any kind of marksmanship or assault rifles, bullets, any of that. This ex-military guy pretty much confirmed, what I was thinking. any kind of assault sniper rifle with a round. It's like if it would have snatched his whole side of his face off.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no such thing of graze with that type of round, that type of speed. It would have been like his ear would have been gone. You know, at least the whole ear would have been gone, not some little something with a Band-Aid on it. Like, come on now. You got shot in the ear with a assault rifle and you got a Band-Aid on your ear? Think about that. Nah.
Somebody made a joke about it.
Actually died. I think 2 people died. So if 2 people could die and he didn't die, come on.
Yeah, they died and you got a little Band-Aid on your ear. Think about that.
Yeah, he should have been hurt a little bit more than what he is. Like all of this side should have been off. And the person standing behind him and the person behind that person, a few people would have got hit in his surrounding area. You know what I'm saying? If he really got hit with that type of weapon, you know?
Yeah.
There were like 7 shots that were taken.
Yeah, and 7. I mean, and like I said, I haven't done thorough investigation on it. I don't know if it was 7 shots taken in his direction. There's a lot to unpack on it, but overall,
did he have a few shots though?
Yeah, overall, so an assassination, attempt on him in this time is still peculiar, but everything is leading towards it being a setup. For it is leaning towards it being a setup, regardless of whether to what magnitude it was staged by Trump or not, right? Or to what level he was involved in the staging of it. I think he did have some. I think he did have some. What is it? He had a little bit of a role in the script, because I mean, listen. I just can't imagine you saying, "Hold up, Secret Service. Let me stop y'all for a minute to let me throw up a black fist before y'all get me out of here." That just kind of blew me, and I was just like, "Wait a minute, people shooting at you, and you want to stop for a second, just throw up the black."
Yeah, exactly. He ducked down, then he bounced up.
Okay.
He said, "White power, white power."
Listen, it's like I said. I mean, there's some investigation to be done, but it's still all quite peculiar. My bad. Go ahead, Dad.
Well, so this is a type of psychology, or what you call psych ops, that was used to get the masses to buy into an illusion, and they demonstrate what a bunch of people in the Trump cult start wearing Band-Aids on their ear to symbolize he sacrificed himself. This is the same psychology that was used by the religious organizations to convince people to buy into this brainwashing. So at what point do we as a species wake up and say, enough of this nonsense? And Chairman, that's what I'm saying to you. Do you confirm that, or your thoughts in terms of our people continuing to fall for this madness? Because I did see a couple of Negroes, we have different classifications, backing up this Trump agenda, that this really happened and it wasn't planned. It wasn't. So you see the correlation between this psych op with Trump and religious organizations, Chairman?
Oh, absolutely. Because it's a belief thing. We looked at it physically and still got beliefs and can't say I know. So that just proves right there it's something going on that we just don't really know, and we got our opinion, but we don't know. Like I say, 7 shots fired, all those people. There should have been more than 3 people hit, or 4 if you want to count Trump.
Yeah, I got standing in the crowd. They all standing in. Each one of those bullets should have hit somebody, if he was aiming towards Trump in the crowd.
Right, and went through some of the people.
And
Yeah,
because it was military round, it was a assault rifle with military issued rounds. That should have been just like these other mass shootings where it'd be like 10 and 12 people getting shot.
Exactly.
Them bullets should have, you know.
Nobody in that surrounding.
And then Trump, and then you hear the shot, and then he looks directly over in the direction, and then there's like a moment of time, and then he's like,
and duck.
My ear. No, that's something is off about that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to directly say it was like a full conspiracy or something, but I just that's just
with that
the type of weapon and the type of round. It doesn't fit the injury that he has. That looked like a piece of tissue. He looked like he got a piece of tissue wrapped around his ear. You know, and if you notice, the media like CNN and all the media, they all work together, even though they try to act like adversaries. They all work together. If you notice, look at the news, you'll see like all of their camera angles are on the ear with the tissue on it. Like when you look at all their stories, they're just all showing the ear with the tissue on it. Like they're just making it like a, they're trying to put that into our heads.
And this is so. What's interesting about this thing is what we're seeing here is a modern day quote unquote ritual, which was very similar to the martyrization of Jesus, even though we never seen it or it was not real. But the point is, martyrdom is one of the best ritualizations out there, especially during this time, because it evokes so much emotion. It evokes rage, sadness, passion, and then a secondary emotion, which we can now call some level of patriotism, right? Which is like an accumulation of emotions. Right. But either way, but what you notice is it's done on a stage, and there's a singular person that is harmed in front of a crowd. That's how it works. Right?
And to add on to that,
that's why the Jesus image.
Jesus died on the cross, and now it's millions of people wearing a cross with Jesus dead on it.
Exactly.
Trump gets shot in the ear. Now it's people in his coat wearing tissue on their ear.
Wearing tissues on it. You feel what I'm saying?
Same thing. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
It's the exact same thing, right? It's
the
exact same thing. But and this and I'm not gonna digress too far on this. Well, it's not really a digression. It's relative to the point. To the point that you, Pops, and Chairman were making earlier. What do we have to do to begin this deprogramming of this psyops and showing the people how to come together, and then how is that going to usher in the elevation in the deprogramming? We have to really understand that entities that are implementing this are parasitic in nature, and so you have to really think about how a parasite operates, or a virus. A parasite and or a virus are very good at what they do. I mean, they've evolved to do this. It's like so. Take for instance now. I'm gonna make some analogies. They may seem somewhat arbitrary, but just hear me out on this, because me and Dad laugh about it all the time in the house, but it's real. So say we live on the 4th floor in our building, and we sometimes a mosquito every now and then may get in the house, right? But so a mosquito every now and then get in the house, and what we've noticed though, and this is like in the last few years, that these mosquitoes then develop some type of camouflage to where the moment you'll see the mosquito, but the moment you lay eyes on them, all of a sudden they get some kind of cloaking device. It's like you see it and all of a sudden you don't. It doesn't matter where it flew to. It's like it could be flying right across your eyes, and you lay eyes on it for 2 or 3 seconds, all of a sudden it snaps out of vision, right? And so, and it's almost as if it knows you looking at it, so it needs to go into cloak mode. Whatever may not be real. I may be overthinking that, but that's what it seems like.
No, you're
But
not. Hey, no, you're
That's
not.
what
You know
keeps
what?
happening, right?
You not. You and flies, modern day flies do the same thing. Modern day flies do the same. I just got finished. This is crazy that you say that. I just got finished. I'm like, how did this fly get in here? Where did you come from? And then I saw him. And then when I saw him and I'm trying to swat him, he just literally disappears.
Disappeared on you.
I'm like, okay, I gotta wait till I see you again because I can't get you right now because you done some type of
you done put on the cloak. You got some. You done upgrade.
Yeah.
Hey, why was a mosquito designed? What's the purpose of a mosquito?
Now, Chairman just brought up the great point. What's the point of a mosquito? To leech off of your blood. Point blank, period. That's all it wants. It's not going to give anything to you. All it wants to do is take something from you. Take some, essentially your energy, your blood, because your blood is the source of your energy. Now comparing that to another form of a leech, which is also a virus. Now, virus is a little bit more scary, and this is something that, well, this is a situation that's a bit more analogical, because this is something that actually enters the body, and this has the ability to start converting certain biological components of you to its benefit. So if whenever you get a chance, I'm talking to everybody on the panel and the audience, you ever go get a chance, go look up a visual image of a virus. It looks like a little alien, for one. It looks like a little alien. It's like a little, it looks like a little alien. It has a head, a stalk, and it has like a little three or four tripod set of legs. And what it does is it gets into your body and it starts attaching to your cells. And it has a drill, and I'm just trying to paint the visualization of this as simple as possible. It has a little drill that it squats and drills down into your cells and inserts its DNA into your cells. Mm-hmm. And then it inserts its DNA into your cells to convert your cells into what it is. Right? It then inserts itself into what you are to convert you into what it is. Right? And so it starts the conversion process. And I'm oversimplifying. This is a little more complicated, but this is still essentially the process of what's happening. And it's doing this so that it can convert as many of your biological makeup into what it is, so it can comfortably exist inside of you. Because otherwise your white blood cells are going to start kicking his ass. But the more it starts converting you into it, the more it has the ability to fight your white blood cells and or just convince your whole biological system not to attack it. So what has happened here? This is where the PSYOPs programming comes in, to where, mind you, just like Chairman said, we used to know that outside programming and science program was some bull, and we'd be like, nah, that's some bull. We ain't going along with that. Matter of fact, get out of here with that before we kick you, right? But slowly, but for surely, over time, they would send missionaries, small militias into various tribes, various areas. In other words, they would attack our most weakest spots and infiltrate, and slowly but for surely convert our most weakest links until they got enough strength and not enough numbers, and now they're inside the body. And so, and what were they inserting inside of us? Those ritualistic programs of stuff like what just happened with Trump, and the concept of what happened with Jesus. Slowly but for surely. And so now where we at with it is, 1,000 years later, we have a invasion, we have a infection of this on a mass level. And so just like what the body does, we have to do a massive detoxification. And so what happens inside the body is you have to separate healthy cells from damaged and infected cells. So when chairman is saying we need to come together, when dad is saying we're gonna have to form our own stuff and do some separating, so we got to get away from some of these damaged cells, which are these overpopulated metropolitan areas. They got all kind of code and policy that make it really, really difficult for you to set up anything we're talking about. Because listen, me and dad just trying to set up a very simple, a small urban garden over in West Tampa. You can't imagine the hurdles and hoops we'd have had to jump through, let alone with the municipality and the jurisdiction. We just talking about other people who just don't want to see it coming to fruition. But my point is, these metropolitan areas, just think of them just like on that movie, The Matrix. That's going to be their main hubs, but they already got a stronghold there. They want to convert that into their super cancer cell cities.
I like to reflect on the fact that the old illusion is playing out. You know, the blonde, blue-eyed Jesus, even when Trump sent pictures of the black Jesus, the black Christ, not Jesus, over, you know, that is a signal that illusion is dying. And even in the Willie Lynch letter, it teaches, you know, to maintain white supremacy, you have to improve upon those tactics. So this Trump illusion is a new version of the same old crap, but they have to update the illusion to get new followers to buy into this game, to allow the parasite to maintain his position and attach to us. You know, still, you know, as we wind down, you know, with the show, our objective now, we're in a time frame. We don't have a whole lot of time to convince, you know, people that are still caught up in that first level of illusion and are not even on the fence. You know, you got one group that's this information written by the Europeans, which is the plagiarism of the original information that we point out in our book, Lucifer's Revenge. We shared the original stories of how the universe works and what really happened on Earth. And so what the Europeans did was extract from those original stories and put their brand on it to divert attention to their parasitic waves. So this is why we wrote the book. We're giving you an option of the original information that talks about why you are an aboriginal and why you have authority to reclaim your planet, and how you can become Christ-like within and manifest on your own. Even the illusionary Christ, when they plagiarized these stories, he said, you too can perform these miracles and even greater works. Well, you know, so that's saying that we as a collective of people need to come together with one love and quit, you know, not worrying about how tall you are, what your skin complexion, or what school your children go to, what kind of car you drive. All that's part of the illusion to keep you divided and conquered. You know, so we're at this point where if you in that first group, you are a fanatical and ain't nothing the truth other than the Bible, it's nothing we can do for you. You got to go through 3 or 4 more incarnations of getting your butt kicked before you come to a realization that the Christ is within you. For those that are on the fence, we're providing you with this information. Go out and get a copy of Lucifer's Revenge. And here's the reason why. If you're not quite ready to join a movement, to start building an institution to preserve your babies, you know, just by having a copy of the book, it sends a message to those low frequency entities, to those religious, mentally deranged people, you know, that we're not going along with this con game anymore. So you might as well, you know, change your narrative, you know, or get with the program of the Most High, you know. And so this book, so by buying this book, the entity, the demons or the enemy knows that we are waking up. And that changed the whole narrative. That gives goodness power to overcome this illusion, these little petty cartoonish games that they're playing, shooting the man in the ear and he raising his fist. Come on, man.
That was a BB gun. He got shot in the ear with a BB gun.
It's it's madness. So
yeah,
if we as a species still going along with this kind of ignorance, it's not saying a lot to advanced civilizations out there that wants us to join them in a galactic community to say that we're no longer barbaric, we're civilized.
I often wonder. You just said something that sparked something that I always wondered since I was like a kid. Because see, my mom is where I get my spirituality, because my dad was he was Nation of Islam, but my mom was kind of outside of that, and she would always say, me and her would talk about aliens and extraterrestrials and stuff like that. And we're from New Mexico, so we saw a lot of stuff in the sky in New Mexico that ain't no airplanes. I don't care what nobody say, no weather balloons. Some of the stuff that we saw ain't got nothing to do with the United States government aircraft, anything, being from New Mexico. So I say all that to say that me and my mom would kind of like make a joke. We would be like, they make a nature show. We're so lower level in existence, the way we destroy each other, the way we destroy our planet, we destroy the environment. She was like, they're watching us, but they don't want to intervene because we're so toxic, we're so animalistic, to the where it's like they don't want to taint their existence trying to really deal with us. They're kind of watching us and waiting on us to rise to a certain level of consciousness and existence in order to teach us the ways of the universe that they probably know that we don't know. You know what I mean? So I would always joke with my mom and say, Mom, they're probably looking at the way we look at lions chase zebras in nature shows. They're probably looking at us like they like animals. They look at they blowing each other up. They got all these wars. They killing each other. They doing all these negative things to each other. We want to deal with the ones who rise above that. And what I hear you saying is that's what we're doing is the seed that's gonna grow into those people who are going to be able to connect with these higher beings that's just watching us. They're here already. Exactly. They don't want to be bothered. You think they want to be bothered with fake people with tissue on their ear, and you think they want to be bothered? I mean, let's just keep it real. Like, they're here, but it's just so silly. It's so silly, and the negativity and the hatred that has just been the earth have been consumed with. I would think if I was them, I would be like, let's just deal with a certain few that understand. You know what I mean? Everybody can't be like Marcus Garvey say. He ain't trying to save everybody. We ain't in the position to where we can try to save everybody right now. Some people is gonna go to the grave thinking Jesus is coming back. Most of these Negroes, yes, there are Negroes in these churches that's not gonna hear. They're gonna look at us like demons and sinners, and we need to be saved and all that. We can't save everybody. We can only focus on the people who vibrate on the frequency that we vibrate on. That's it. Because we would be wasting too much time, energy, resources.
Trying to collect everybody.
Yeah, trying to save people who ain't going
everybody out. You can't sort everybody out. It's just a magnet. We'll find each other.
Yeah, you put the truth right in their face, and they be like, "Nah, I'm gonna go to church."
Its way. It'll find its way where it needs to be, especially if it's looking for it. Like how we met each other, we found each other, and it's just a ripple effect like that. We got to set a pattern, and once we got some patterns going, a continuous patterns, then the patterns will keep patterning whatever it is that we blueprinting.
Yeah,
absolutely. So so our focus right now, and this is my recommendation to our panel is, you know, we've done enough exposing the hypocrisy and the illusion. The bottom line is, if you got melanin in your skin, you're charged with making a difference on this planet, but you're not going to do it as an individual. You're not going to do it with selfish desires. If you don't respect the laws of the universe, all men are created equal, treat people the way you want to be treated, you are fighting a losing battle. So what we're doing is we're reaching out to those that are conscious right now. Did you get what we're saying? You understand that we're not the only civilized, we ain't civilized species in the universe, that there are billions of them, and the ones that have passed the test that we're taking right now are waiting on us to elevate to a level so we can join them in a positive frequency. That's where we're at. So for those that are listening, you know, I strongly recommend, even to the ones, Chairman, the ones in our generation that have children, and guess what? These children are not going along with this program, so they bringing grandbabies and great-grandbabies back home to grandma and grandpa's house, and now you got to still raise all these generations because we did not leave them with an institution to prosper. So I suggest to you, grandmas and great-grandmas, buy a copy of Lucifer's Revenge. Go to lucifersrevenge.net, get a copy, give it to your sons and your daughters, because they're going to all be moving in with you. You spending up your little Social Security check. You got to start all back over again. These young men are going to be frustrated, young melanated men, because this demon is going to cut them out of his economy. And when he does that, they're going to start resorting to violence.
When they are.
Yes. So get it.
Depending on people to help, you know?
Yes. So we're recommending you get a copy of this book, put it out there, put it in the hands of some young melanated people so they can start the path of moving out of your house. Because now this book will give them a new narrative, a direction, a light at the end of the tunnel to reconstruct their lives. And then they can come to us. We have communities that we're developing. We got hundreds of acres being made available to us. We're going to need people to fit those slots. We're going to need every component, that from food, shelter, power, every one of those. And we know all the 144 personalities where humans fit, so we can guide them in that direction. Otherwise, they're going to be grandma, grandpa. They're going to be all up in your house, eating up your food. And then when they come to a conclusion, they don't want to listen to you. They're going to figure out, grandma and grandpa be better dead because I can control my own narrative and get the assets. That's the hideous direction we're headed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's wicked.
Yeah.
It's wicked out there. Told you my whole family are coons.
Latika, what was the last part on it? I don't have a teleprompter in front of me. What was the last part of the post that we wanted to cover before we sign out?
I don't think we got a chance to cover everything. We did listen to the first 5 minutes of that clip, so I guess next Saturday we'll listen to the next 5 minutes. Break it down in parts as we go. And I don't think Andre got a chance to play what he wanted to play. So we'll just be continuing, on to what we didn't get to cover this week, next week.
Yeah. So one of the things I do remember I stated was that for people that want to join the nation, Andre, how can they join? So we're collecting contact.
We were supposed to talk about the book and then talk about what the nation is about, so people have an idea of what they're joining and stuff like that, what you're trying to do.
So, to my son, you want to give a little preview? I got to charge my battery up. Give them a little preview on the benefits of being a part of the nation.
Yeah. So what we're doing here is starting a tribal nation state. All right, a Black Aboriginal tribal nation state. I know that's a lot of words. Black Aboriginal tribal nation state, knowing that us as Black people in this country, we've got a lot of lineage and heritage in this on this continent. And there's only two types of governments that you can create and or abide by on this land, and that's the United States federal government, and that is tribal governments. Only do one of the two. Right? And so Black people, unbeknownst to most of us, is that we have the right, the global right. I mean, when I say global right, you know, the world supports the right for Black Aboriginals on this land to say, hey, we will recognize you if you come together and say you want to self-govern. You feel me? We'll recognize you. We'll say, hey, we'll agree with the concept of coming together, knowing who you are and your natural right to self-govern, to cultivate your own land, create your own jurisdiction, and forge your own destiny. So as far as the benefits goes, you know, me and Dad usually go back and forth about, you know, the arbitrary benefits of, you know, dual citizenship, which essentially means this: we don't have, when we say separation, the good thing is, you know, as a Black Aboriginal, you don't necessarily have to denationalize yourself from the United States. You can interface and interact with the United States the same way you always have. You just do it a certain way. You just do it as an Aboriginal, and you just contract or make any kind of agreement you want to with any entity in the United States. Do it the same way. I mean, as a matter of fact, you do it like that now. You just do it as a citizen. Anytime you fill out an application, that's a contract. That's an agreement. Anytime you put a signature anywhere, that's a contract. That's an agreement. You do it as a citizen under a certain level of power. When you do it as an Aboriginal, you do it under another certain type of power. We highly recommend you do it as an Aboriginal, especially right now, because you have much more control of all of your political affairs, all of your basic rights, all of your basic resources. Much more control over that. You have much more ability to write your own narrative that way. Now, of course, the truth of the matter is there are systems in place as far as us as a government, us as an Aboriginal government, on how we interact with the United States. There's already, you know, a couple hundred years worth of protocol in place on how we do that, you know, exchange of communication. But is much more to your benefit, much more to your benefit as you as an individual right now, way better benefit to your children and your children's children. Right.
So wait a minute, let me ask you a question. Now, a lot of the Hispanics that are coming into this country, they have their passports or their nationalities in the lands that they're coming from, but they're seeking citizenship here in the United States. So they're getting double benefits, even though their country may have been shut down or going through political turmoil because of some crap the United States government did to disrupt their governments and force them to get to go out walking. But what our people don't understand is that you can have dual citizenship, you know, and especially if you're Aboriginal, you got melanin in your skin, most likely your parents, and you don't have any money or land, most likely your parents were murdered by the Europeans when they first got here, and your land was confiscated based on some bull crap the Catholic Church told them. The same Catholic Church that's been raping children. Okay, so that invalidates whatever authority they thought they had. This is your land. All we're doing is reclaiming it. And we're going about it in a methodical way of approaching these treaties. And then for those that have said, well, I'm scared, they're going to just come and shoot us. No, there is an approach. And Brother Khufu just told you that there are beings, they've been here and they always been here. And if you approach them properly, they will protect us. Just like you put faith in that these an invisible angel been protecting you, these guardians will protect you. But we got to get you out of that mindset of fear, because they are cowards. They are really cowards, and you don't need to fear a coward. But on that note, Andre, in terms of if you're a conscious person and you resonate with what we're talking about, and you want to get involved, volunteer. We got people that are coming in with land that we're going to convert to aboriginal land and stop paying the Europeans taxes on our own damn land. So we're working on all those systems. We're working on bringing housing and industry to your land, your property, so your children don't have to worry about these demons coming in the next generation, snatching it under some false treaty that they always draw up and then renege on. These entities cannot do right by you. They subscribe to an agenda of lie, cheat, steal, and deception. If you ain't figured out, Chairman, we've been on this planet 70-something years. Have we seen anything different?
Not really, just a different technique.
Do you
technique.
think they're going to wake up next week and change?
Not necessarily. I mean, like we do have the power. We just need the people to recognize and come together, and we can implement that, and things can change quicker than what you think, because we got them little phones that we can communicate to people and those narrow-minded people. So it can be a big difference in a short period of time, but you got to know it within your heart, not just believe. You got to know it. Once you know it, it's just like between heaven and hell. Heaven is a good atmosphere. Hell is a bad atmosphere. Which one do you want to be in?
Absolutely. All right, so we're gonna wrap it. Khufu, we're gonna give me your final thoughts.
You notice how it seems like the main goal is for the powers to be is to divide, keep us divided, keep us from building, keep us financially in the hole, keep us, fighting amongst each other, keep us indoctrinated, keep us the unity. See, we can't build a community. The word unity is in community. You know what I'm saying? And if we build a community, that's automatically going to build unity. See what I'm saying? And it seems to me that is, if you think about it, that's their main goal. Disunity, disharmony, unbalance, self-hate. You know what I'm saying? If we can overcome those things, which I know we can, everybody ain't gonna make it, but I'm okay with that now. I love all my melanated beings on this planet, but being real, you got to be real. Everybody ain't gonna make it. Yeah. But those, and I'm gonna speak in biblical terms. There's 144,000 out of each tribe of Israel that's supposedly going to come back with Jesus. It don't say everybody's gonna make it. Even if you read Revelations, it don't say everybody gonna make it. It don't say everybody gonna be saved. It don't say he say he coming back with a garment dipped in blood. That ain't. So I just say all that to say that we have to, like you said, we have to come together, the people that know, because knowing is superior to believing. Knowing is superior to believing. The people that are stuck in beliefs is not going to know. They're not going to ever know until they decide to step outside of the box that they're in. You know what I mean? So unity, community is the main, that should be the main goal. One of the main goals that we pursue is unity and community, because unity, you know what I'm saying? Unity is in community. So I'm totally with the whole concept of us coming together, and everybody's not going to make it. and lead by example. You know, we have to lead by example, because a lot of the people, once they see that it's working, I think the spirit of the ancestors, the spirit will pull a lot of people out of it, because, you know, we're visual learners. We like to see somebody else doing it to see if it works before we do it. See what I mean? So
Absolutely.
let's make this work. Let's make this work. And once other people see it working, man, it'll be people in droves coming up out of them churches, because they're not happy. They're really not happy.
No, they're not.
Their souls are crying out. You know what I'm saying? And these masjids, these churches, all of that. It's just, but see, that's why they destroy our leadership. That's why they make sure that anyone that presents themselves as a leader in our community, in the melanated community, they just wind up dead some type of way, assassinated, or drug overdose, you name it, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They know that destroy the head and the body can't survive without the head. You know what I mean? So right. The main goal, like I said, is community. You know, creating a healthy community for the melanated beings on this planet, untampered with, untoxic, you know, healed. And it has to be through food, education, you know, many different things. It's kind of a multi scale, you know, different things that we have to come together and work on in order to make it work. It ain't just one thing. It's a couple of different things that we got to come together on.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Latika, your final word.
Oh, I think everybody just basically summed it up. You know, give thanks for the listeners for tuning in. And, you know, next week we'll be bringing some more edifying, educational content to the platform. And yeah, just purchase the book, Lucifer's Revenge. What's the website again for them to get it? www.lucifersrevenge.com?
.net.
.net? Yes.
I need to go drop them books off at some churches. I'm gonna go to some churches and I need to go stand up. I need to go drop some books off at some churches. For real. I ain't even playing. Like,
yeah, it's true. We need some hard copies so we can start delivering them, handing them out, because I do know some people that.
Yeah, I'll do that. I will do that. I will promote that book in Virginia to these church folk that need some waking up. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to be on the ground. You got to be a foot soldier. You got to be on the ground, boots on the ground. That's what we need right now. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I'm saying, like how Marcus Garvey Day is coming up, and then Harlem Month is all next month. We gotta target those areas where where the hot spots are. That's just it, you know. Or create hot spots. Spots that we think that's not gonna be hot, we can make them hot spots.
I agree.
Absolutely. All right. Well, my final word is buy the book. The enemy is studying how many books are being sold. The more books that are being delivered, suggest to them that their game is expired, and it gives power to melanated people. It gives power to our children. Knowledge is power, and they're going to be equipped with a knowledge that will escape this mental and psychological enslavement. With that, I hand the ball over to the engineer. He closes it out, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Okay, give thanks. Love and gratitude.
All right, family. All right. My last few words. Wait a minute, the chairman, did you get your last few? You get your chance to say?
I did get it in there, but one thing is we were created to come together. That's why we were brought to planet Earth. And if you study history, you can see when people basically migrated from their star system to this planet. But you got to really study the truth. And there are many ways to heaven, but there's only one heaven. So there are many good books out there, but you got to find the one that's going to be bringing us together. I end that.
Indeed. On that note, just like all the family said, but one, also go get Chairman's book, God's Child. Also, www.lucifersrevenge.net. It will give you power. It'll show you exactly show you exactly how this parasite has infiltrated. It's almost like this. If you catch a virus, you're gonna, you know, if you want a natural way of getting rid of the virus, you want to, you know, you go pick up a naturopathic book to figure out what kind of herbs you need to take. That's what this book is like. Exactly what this book is like. Show you exactly how the virus got in you, show you exactly how to remedy yourself of the virus. But we show you exactly what happened. And once you read it, there's no way you can deny the truth. And there's no way you can deny the healing as well. There's no way you can deny it. And what we're doing with this book is not only just revealing to you how it went down and how you can heal yourself. Every day we get up and we make steps towards building this utopia on planet Earth that you deserve. Because we live, we know you sick of this hamster wheel. Because we sick of it. That's why we didn't detach from it, and we able to get on this podcast with you every day and talk to you. Well, not every Saturday, and talk to you about it. Every Saturday we'll come talk to you about it. May double up. May double up on you. Might start doing it twice a week. But anyway.
Yeah, what happened to your Tuesdays?
Tuesdays? Oh, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
You forgot about it already. Look.
Yeah.
It was your idea and you forgot about your own idea.
It's all good. It's all good. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. LucifersRevenge.net. If you want to reach out to us about joining the nation state that we are developing, you see us on these platforms, hit us directly in the inbox for right now. We check them pretty often, right? We'll start filtering everybody's communications into one spot. Because right now we are developing the plebiscite and or the referendum to determine exactly who we are and establish ourselves as a nation state. And yeah, we're looking forward to you coming aboard. We know you got the will, you got the desire. We just building the platform for you. We're not putting ourselves above you. That's not it at all. We just setting up the table for you, fam. We just want you to come down and take a seat. Come sit down and take a seat with us. You feel me? All right. Ain't no head to it. It's a round table. You feel me? It's a round table. All right. I'll land my plane right there. Peace and love, family. This has been the Straight Talk Network show. We'll see you next week.
Peace out.
Love and light.
Conversation piece.